Good morning. So I listened to the audiobook Virus Mania. And honestly, I felt angrier and angrier and angrier reading it. It just, the amount of like corruption, deception, and all the lies and all the beliefs that I'd heard over the years and never really questioned, and just realizing how deep and how rotten the whole, medical industrial complex, the whole, pandemic, scandemic, all that kind of stuff, just how corrupt it is and how just nasty the whole thing is. Just and then the proposed solutions and all the the deals between pharma and governments and school districts and all the just all the like shady stuff that just makes it seem so it's just so sad. Like so many people were needlessly hurt and scared and even killed by the drugs and the fear and all that. And so highly recommend reading it, even though it will, like for me, it really pissed me off. It was hard to like not feel like just rage at like how bamboozled and all the shenanigans that went into trying to put forth all these fear-mongering things, and I was concerned going in that it might be like too fringe or like wacko stuff, but it was it's just total like doctors just going through a history of viruses and pandemics, just going one after the other and pointing out here's the official narrative, here's an alternative narrative, here's what the official narrative said about the proposed cure, and here's all the facts about why that can't be so, and how it, whether it's, AIDS drugs or corona stuff or all that about, all the harm it can cause, and then here's a more logical and likely explanation for what happened, why people are getting sick, why they're dying, and, how the response contributed to it. And they just go, whether it's measles or, polio, DDT, all the bird flu, swine flu, AIDS, Hep C, the other vaccines for like cervical cancer, HPV. They just go through all of them, and all the questions I had about all the viruses, pandemics, like this current corona stuff had, a lot of it didn't make any sense to me, and it had me questioning the entire system and looking back and wondering like what happened in the past, like the swine flu and all the other pandemics. And I personally was working in the meat industry during BSE, and so their chapter on mad cow, BSE, all that totally resonated with my own personal experience being in the industry. And so that was like an in point for me to like take in all the other information they were saying. But it was just super helpful. It answered all the questions I had about all the the suspicions I had about the past pandemics being scandemics or at least being shady in some way. And whether one agrees or disagrees with the narrative, for me, like the book is a great resource to go back, and they list all the studies, they list all the doctors involved. And so from there, a jump off point to like research deeper if one wants to find out, is this true? Is it not? What does the study say? Actually go back and read it, because they list all the doctors and all the studies. So from there, it's a great resource to go back and educate oneself. Or for me, it was very educational, and I feel very empowered, and I think everyone should read this book, even if they don't agree with it or think, it's another source of information to add to the list of possibilities of what's going on here. And for me, the only thing I didn't like about it, I jumped straight into chapter 3, but then I went back and listened to chapters 1 and 2. And in chapter 1, there's this little anti-meat rant that didn't resonate for me, and it seemed out of context with the rest of the book. Like a lot of the book, they talk about, ancestral health or natural diets and how the people living in the old way don't get sick, that kind of thing. And then there's this thing in the beginning about anti-meat, and they don't really distinguish between wild meats or hunting or that kind of thing. And so it seemed, I don't know, it seemed out of place to me. And if I had started with chapter 1, I might have been turned off, so I'm glad I jumped straight to chapter 3 and then listened to the whole book. And it is dense at some times, there's a lot of information in there, a lot of science, a lot of data, and I think that's a good thing. I was still able to get through it, and the narrator of the audiobook, Sam Bailey, she has her own YouTube channel. She's been censored a lot, so she's moving to Odyssey, but another great resource for further information. And for me, just understanding, wanted to know, like I don't buy the official, whatever the politicians and Big Pharma are putting out. I put a big asterisk and a grain of sand or salt there saying, I don't trust this. And when I want to know more, it's helpful to have these other resources that I can listen to. And so Yeah, Virus Mania, highly recommend everyone read it. It's just a good thing to, a different conversation, a different way of approaching health and solutions. How can we all take care of each other, be healthy? That's for me. That's what it's about. That's what I want. Seems like the authors of this book, that's what they care about. They want everyone to be healthy. Everyone to be taken care of. Yeah. So yeah, check it out. Hope you like it. Thanks.